Hello and welcome to the Solano College Sports Network for a brand new edition of On Campus. My name is Cameron Anderson, here with a very special guest, member of the Solano Falcons baseball team, Jaxson Bates. Thank you, Jaxson, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, man.
So I want to start off with your journey getting into baseball, watching sports, playing other sports. Tell me about how that started.
I mean, like, my earliest memories are watching Barry Bonds. You know, the end of his career, the last 5-6 years of his career were the first years of my life. And, I mean, everybody talks about how when Bonds was up, everybody was watching the TV, and that's how it was in my household. Bay Area household, that's how it was. So, like, when he came up, I was up on the TV, you know, pretending I was hitting, swinging at the pitches that he wasn't swinging at, wondering why he wasn't swinging, not understanding it. And then we were also watching, like, the We Believe Warrior team, you know, all those Warrior teams, all those Niner teams with Frank Gore, Patrick Willis, you know, all them. So, yeah, I mean, I grew up watching all the sports, you know.
So when did you start playing baseball and other sports as a kid?
I mean, I started, like, just doing, like, baseball stuff very early on. Like, my mom said when I was, like, 1 year old, I was hitting ping pong balls with, like, the little wood bats that you get at the games. So, I mean, I've always kind of been more baseball-oriented, I guess.
So when do you think you were sort of like an early bloomer in terms of being an athlete or a baseball player, or do you think it hit you later in life when you were like, okay, like I'm better than usually the people around me and I could play further?
I would say I was an early bloomer just athletically, you know, compared to everybody else. So pretty early on, I had a boost of confidence just from that. But as far as baseball goes, I mean, maybe around like T-ball or farms, you know, when it's just like the rest of the kids are doing something, like I'm already kind of thinking like ahead of them a little bit. Yeah, that's probably when I knew that I could play.
So you went to Benicia High, which has been sort of a hot spot for a lot of Solano guys lately, a lot of your teammates like Zion and Meach, Richie, Shane last year, and this year with Dylan and Trey. So talk to me a little bit about your experience at Benicia High School, obviously with Coach Hughes, who was a pitching coach last year. Just talk to me about your time there.
Well, I mean, I loved my time at Benicia for sure. You know, like my sophomore year was my first year on varsity with Shane. Meach was there too. And, like, that was a good learning experience, like being under those older people's wings. And then my junior year, we won the section championship. That was a really good experience, like just understanding what it takes for a group of guys to come together and figure out what we have to do to win a championship. Because there was a time where we all thought that the season was over. That I remember we had to have like a team meeting and figure it out. And then from there, the camaraderie was up and the morale was up, and then we wrote it.
So after a sectional championship, your junior season, you're heading into your senior season. Tell me about what happened in that process.
Yeah, that sucked. So, like, you know, going into the senior season, like me, Shane, Z, we're all, and Jay Sean, who, I mean, you don't know if he is, but we were all excited going into that senior year, you know, trying to win another section championship. Everybody was trying to get signed at that point, too. None of us were committed. So we all had a chip on our shoulder. But then, obviously, you know, COVID hit, which kind of was a blessing in disguise for me since I tore my labrum my senior year, too, in that December. I was ready to play through it, but you know, luckily it happened, so I didn't have to play through it for that long. But yeah, and then it gave me time to recover in surgery as well.
How did you end up at Solano after your senior year? You said you weren't committed anywhere. Did you have any other offers, any other options coming out of high school?
No, I mean, I actually told Aloni that I was going to go play for them. And then like 3 days later, Hughes, who isn't a coach here anymore, he called me telling me that he was going to go to Solano and that another coach from Benicia was going to go to Solano. And I was sold because, I mean, I knew that I was going to get leeway and more reps, and that they knew what kind of player I was and, you know, that, like what kind of playmaker I am, you know.
So your freshman here at Solano, you hit 6 home runs, drove in nearly 30 RBIs, 800 OPS. How was your adjustment from high school to college ball last year?
I think I had a different role, to be honest. I wasn't much of a power bat in high school, you know, but I kind of just grew into my strength a little bit, I think. And I mean, my role last year was kind of like an RBI guy. Like I was getting up when the bases were loaded or runners on, and mentally I had to be ready to, you know, drive them in.
Yeah, you talk about bases loaded. I mean, grand slam, bat flip. I saw that one firsthand. So what do you where were you batting in the order in high school usually? Your sophomore and junior year.
I was like one through 7, I think, because
Okay.
sophomore year I was kind of mixing in at the bottom of the
Right.
lineup. But yeah, I was kind of always in like the 1 through 3.
Mm-hmm.
Never was really at the 4, or maybe the 5 through 7.
Right. Whereas last year, yeah, you were probably like 3 to 5
Yeah.
range.
Mm-hmm.
So now this year, your sophomore year, I know you've been battling with some injuries. Sort of a slow start for you, as I'm sure you would say.
Yeah.
What do you think is different for you from last year to this year so far?
I mean, I guess this year I'm kind of putting a little bit more pressure on myself because I got hurt in the fall, first day of practice, and I was out for a few months. So, I mean, I missed a lot of work to put in. And then also getting injured right here. Now that I'm back, I'm kind of like I want to make up for the lost time quick. So I think I kind of need to take a step back, realize I can't do everything at once,
That makes sense. So this is your last year at Solano, last year of baseball, now that you're a sophomore. What does the future hold for Jaxson Bates?
I mean, I'm going to ride out baseball as long as I can. It's a blessing to be able to play. Luckily, I have a supportive family who's going to support me in whatever decision I make. But if I can't play baseball any longer, then I'm gonna start working for sure and figure something out.
All right. Well, I hope you the best of luck this year and moving forward. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you, Jaxson, for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
I'm Cameron Anderson. We'll catch you next time here on the Solano College Sports Network.